G'day viewers, and welcome to Aussie Backyard Food, where we show you just how easy it is to catch yourself a swarm. Yeah, that's right. I just got home from work this afternoon and what should I find? A little swarm up the tree. I've got no idea which hive it's come from. All my hives sit up here on the hillside. I've only just consolidated my hives, shrunk them down, reduced them in size, but it's nearly winter. We're only a couple of weeks away from winter here in Australia, the Southern Hemisphere, and it's really unusual. These bees don't have much of a chance of surviving, really, unless I get them into a really small nuke and give them heaps of food through winter, which I will. I can't really stand to see a small hive like that fail. As you can see, it's only a small swarm, and I don't know what it is about this tree. Every hive we've had that has swarmed has ended up settling in this Banksia serrata. I mean, it is conveniently located in front of all our hives, which are just over. So normally when a swarm leaves a hive, it'll settle in a nearby tree, and there it'll stay for anywhere from 1 to 3 days while they send out scouts to find a more suitable long-term arrangement for the swarm to become a hive and to start building comb. Often, traditionally, it would be a hollow tree. And here we can see the scout bees communicating what they have found to the rest of the swarm by doing a waggle dance on the outside of the swarm. Basically, it's a very small democracy. You find the longer that the swarm rests and settles on this branch, eventually the waggle dance will become in unison and the bees will democratically agree on the best possible hollow for them to set up their hive. I think this is a good example of a properly functioning democracy, and perhaps it's one more lesson we humans can learn from the bees. A hive would usually only cast a swarm in the springtime when the growing colony runs out of space. The original queen will bugger off with half of the workforce and leave a soon-to-emerge queen with the remainder of the workforce ready to continue. And due to the fact that I only just inspected my hives and saw no preparation for swarming, I found this really puzzling. Bees, when they're in a swarm mode, are actually quite sedate. Their bellies are full. They're in a very relaxed state. They've got nothing to defend. They don't have a hive to defend yet. They haven't even started building one. So yeah, as you can see, they're quite good to handle. I really like collecting swarms. Putting my hand in there, you can feel the warmth of all the bees. Alright, it's time to give them a home before it gets too cold. Here's a nuke box that I knocked up myself. They should be cosy in there. Got a few freshly extracted frames. Pop them down. The queen hopefully should be in there somewhere. So look at that, a number of them have already started exposing their Nasonoth gland and fanning their little wings away to spread a scent, a pheromone, to tell all their little worker friends to come and join them in their new home. Hopefully by giving these this small colony some fully drawn out combs of wax, that'll give them a head start. And a feature of my homemade nuke boxes, we call them nuke, short for nucleus, because it's only 4 frames, it's a small hive box. A feature of these is a jar that I've attached to the back that I will put some sugar syrup into, and that should help give them a little boost and help them get them through winter. Let's see if we can find the queen. There she is. Middle of the frame. She's a shy one. There she is. There's the tail end anyway. Yeah, she's shy, alright. There she is. Beautiful. Nice big golden queen. And we'll get them settled in their new home. There's still a few bees clustering up there in the tree, but I know the queen's definitely in the box. Saw her go in, so that's pretty normal. They're just picking up some of the faint traces of the queen. Perhaps she landed there before she settled on the other branch. So I might actually trim that branch off too and shake them into the box. Okay, looks like they're starting to take to their new home, so it's time to close it up and allow them to get warm. So put our little hive mat on and our lid. And still we have more bees hanging around, not giving up on that tree. It just goes to show you how location orientated bees are. But hopefully before long they'll start to smell the pheromone and be guided to their new home. Check it out. These bees are trying to get in through the vent because they can smell the queen's pheromone. And they haven't yet discovered the door in the other end. So within this nuke box lies our freshly captured swarm. In fact, just yesterday that I rehomed that swarm into this nuke box. Just while we're here, I'll pan over to the adjoining hive just for interest's sake, just so I can show you what a healthy hive looks like. See the amount of activity at the entrance. You can actually tell a lot about the health of a colony by the amount of activity going on at the entrance. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. It's a good sign to see that the new colony are already sending out some foragers to bring back some stores for the colony. But today what we're here to do is to put some sugar syrup into the feeder that I've made a feature of this nuke box. So let's get into it. Okay, so I've mixed up some sugar syrup, 2 parts sugar, 1 part water, or a 2-to-1 mix, and we're going to put that in this feeder here. And this feeder is actually there for just this type of occasion, where I've put an understrength swarm into a nuke box a few weeks away from winter. Really, they've got not much chance of surviving. If it was earlier in the season, there was plenty of flower around, then I might consider it, because I don't really like giving bees sugar, to be honest. And once the colony gets to a decent sort of size, I never give them sugar, because I like to know that my honey is 100% sugar free. All right, let's have a look and see how they're going. Looks like they're settling in. There's the queen, straight up. Just there. She's got a reasonable sized abdomen on her, so hopefully she's not too far off starting to lay. Can't see any eggs in there as of yet. This should give them a real boost, just to kickstart them and give them every chance of making it through the winter. Okay, so mystery solved. A few days later, I noticed no activity coming out of one of my smaller splits. And putting two and two together, I don't really feel I've gained an extra hive so much as I've had one relocate itself. As you look in here, these frames and this comb has been totally abandoned. It doesn't look like disease is a factor, because there's I can't see any dead brood. No bees left in the hive at all. Not even a hive beetle or a hive beetle larva, nothing. So they've just buggered off. I guess they weren't happy with their digs and they've gone off to find some new digs. So hopefully they're going to be happy with the new home I've given them. So let's go and check that out. They've finished all their sugar syrup anyway, so it's time to top that up. So we may as well see how they're going at the same time. It is unusual for bees to abscond out of a perfectly good home. The only thing I can think of was that was fairly old comb, and maybe they thought it's time to move on and make some new stuff. I've got no idea really, it's never happened to me before. So anyway, let's see how they're going now. Just a little smoke, as a colony this size doesn't have much to protect, so they won't normally fire up. Okay, nothing on the outer frame in terms of work completed. Feel a bit of extra weight there, which is pretty much just the sugar syrup that they've installed inside the comb. I don't know whether you can see that or not. It's a better angle. and we have some eggs. Did you see that? Let's see if I can get you in a good angle. Have a look at our eggs. It's a good sign that she's laying anyway. Those little white rice grain looking things, probably in actual fact only the 1/10 of the size of a rice grain. Down the bottom of the cells, they're little baby bees are waiting to hatch. The queen should be on this frame as she's got nowhere else to be. There she is. There. Being her usual shy self. We're well underway. There's a bit of pollen in there, as well as our sugar syrup that we've been feeding them. So you never know, maybe just this one more jar full of sugar syrup might be enough. We'll get them closed up because it is pretty cool. So there we have it. We thought we were up to 10 hives, but we're still on 9. All good. So I thought we might finish the episode a little bit differently today with a game of charades, beekeeping charades. So have a go, folks. Who am I? Did you get it? Buzz Aldrin. That's right. Bit too much of a coincidence with a name like that. I think surely Buzz came from a family of beekeepers. In fact, I sort of imagine how the conversation would have gone with his old man. Dad, I don't want to be a beekeeper. It's too hard. Son, you're the 7th generation of beekeepers in this family. It ain't rocket science. Something like that anyway. Until next time, catch ya.